if this company is taking advantage of veterans, why wouldn't you think that they lied and are taking advantage of Zach?
This sounds an awful lot like communism.
The VFW headquarters out of Washington, D.C. has decided to attack a veteran that, by the way, has been a veterans advocate and assisted non-for-profits for over the past 10 years. Now, I know him as my good friend Zach, but you might know him as Veteran with a Sign. That's right, a guy filled with positivity who puts up signs of cardboard that says, "Maybe don't forever sleep," has been attacked by the VFW headquarters in Washington, D.C. And after being told by a multitude of comments and responses to their post, "You're kind of going about this the wrong way. This guy's a stellar member of the veteran community. Why would you attack one of your own?" The VFW chose to double down, talk shit in the comments, call up other veterans in the social media sphere, except for me, they know better, don't you fucking call me, and demand that they stop saying anything mean about the VFW. And even went as far as to directly message Zach and say, "This is all your fault. People are mean in the comments because of you." Now I'm gonna break down what exactly happened, what started it, what happened after they made the post that really irritated me, and how I think we even got to this point. But before I do, you need to know that I like the VFW. And I'm serious when I say that local VFW posts are great places. Veterans are going there and getting assistance and having camaraderie. I have a video upcoming that is an exceptional story about one of my local VFWs in New York State. But there are a few bad eggs in the VFW headquarters in Washington, D.C. that decided to shit on a pillar in the veteran community and then double down on it. So when you hear me say I'm mad at the VFW or the VFW posted this, it's the VFW headquarters and the idiots inside of it in Washington, D.C. Are you saying people in Washington, D.C. might have their heads up their ass? Yes, I'm afraid so. Unbelievable as it may sound. All right, let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business.
What's so inflammatory? Why is everybody so upset with the VFW? What could they have possibly posted this? They posted this on Twitter. Let's read it out loud for one another, shall we? In case the Marines have an issue reading. Just in case. Hey, Zachary E. Bell. That's Veteran with a Sign. Stop adding to the rumor mill. According to a certain cease and desist letter, the help that Remedical provides veterans is illegal. We'll just leave this here. And it's a link to what the VFW says is a cease and desist letter. Hashtag don't feed the sharks. Hashtag we got receipts. Now, what does this post mean? What is a shark? Well, you see, the VFW has run an ad campaign where they state that there are private for-profit businesses that are supposedly assisting veterans in their VA claims. But these for-profit businesses are actually loan sharking these veterans for their VA claim. And I think we can all agree that that's pretty bad. Now, not all of these for-profit businesses that assist veterans in getting their VA claims and benefits started or going are bad. But because so many veterans have been taken advantage of by these sharks, the VFW is sponsoring, promoting, putting ads for legislation that limits a veteran's choice and says you cannot go outside Veteran Service Organizations, VSOs, or the VA in order to get assistance with your VA claim.
Hold on, I'm sorry to interject, but this sounds an awful lot like communism. Just so we're all on the same page, the VFW is backing a piece of legislation that's going to make it illegal for companies to charge veterans money to help them get through the VA claim filing process. Essentially, they want to get rid of the free market and make it so they're the only ones that are legally allowed to help you because they do it for free because they run off of charity. Which, as far as I'm concerned, is basically communism. If you want to get technical, it'd be a legal monopoly, but potato, regardless, it's never a fucking good idea. Here's my source, any history book fucking ever. It is never a good idea to get rid of the free market and disincentivize competition. Now, to be fair, their heart is in the right place because their reasoning is, you were a veteran, you served your country, you shouldn't have to pay to get the paperwork done for the bureaucratic nightmare that is the VA. Completely agree. You shouldn't have to pay. However, we don't live in the land of shoulda. And there's absolutely no group of people on the planet that understand that better than veterans. You know what? Just as a thought experiment, let's apply this logic to any other situation under the sun, okay? You, if you ever get arrested or get in legal trouble, have a right to an attorney, okay? You shouldn't have to pay for an attorney considering that it is a right. Correct? Correct. That is why if you do not have an attorney, the state will assign one to you for free 99. Or if you do have a bunch of money and you prefer to buy some fancy lawyer, you can also have that option too. Now, imagine if somebody came out with a bill that made it illegal for any lawyer to practice unless they were a public defender that was working on government funds. It would be a fucking disaster. Because now all the people that would go and buy their own fancy lawyer aren't legally allowed to do that, so they have to go stand in line and wait for the free lawyer. All of a sudden, the free lawyer's quality is going to drop because they're being overworked. In addition to that, the line is going to get way longer. The court system gets backed up, and next thing you know, we don't have jails, we have gulags where there's just thousands and thousands of people waiting for their court date to come up so they can finally get proven innocent or guilty. And if that's too complicated of an example for you, I will give you the child version. Imagine the Avengers, you know, all the superheroes. Imagine if one superhero decided, you know what, I should be the only superhero, so they went around and killed all the other Avengers so that only they could be the one that solves crime. Problem, they're not able to be everywhere all at once and more crime starts happening. That's basically what's going to happen here. Okay, and here's a counter argument to that from the VFW. Well, some of these guys might get charged too much money, making it basically a scam. Cool, then they won't go to that company and that company will go out of business. The free market will correct it. Okay, it's not the government's job to tell people how to spend their money, okay? I can buy a set of fucking flip-flops for $3.99 or I can spend $5,000 on a pair of collector Jordans. Just because I can buy flip-flops for $3.99 doesn't mean that the $5,000 pair of Nikes are a scam. It means that I'm a grown-ass adult and I'm gonna decide how to spend my fucking money on what I want, and the government shouldn't have any input on that. And to be completely fair, does that leave some wiggle room for bad actors to conduct scams? It absolutely does, but guess what? That's the cost of freedom, okay? As much as some people want to say you cannot legislate perfection or utopia. It's not doable. Okay, just because some people say stupid shit that I don't like doesn't mean I'm about to go lobby Congress to abolish the freedom of speech. And if you want another example of why this and communism is fucking stupid, we can go all the way back to September 17th, 1939, when the USSR also invaded Poland because they were still allied with Nazi Germany due to the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact.
Stop kidding. Nope. Okay. Thank you, Nick. God. He's like the Beetlejuice of communism. You say it 3 times and he pops up. Zach himself decided to go with a for-profit business, pay them a small fee, and then get years and years of benefits in like 30 days. Now, once this post was put up, everybody saw it for what it was. If you want to yell at the medical group that's taking advantage of veterans, we'll yell at them. Why would you poke fun at Zach if this company is taking advantage of veterans? Why wouldn't you think that they lied and are taking advantage of Zach? Now, the VFW headquarters says that the company that sponsored a couple posts from Veteran with the Sign is one of these sharks. And they have proof. I mean, if we're attacking this medical group, why isn't there a photo of the medical group on it? It looks like you're attacking him. And, well, I mean, that's the way I took it, and a lot of other people did too. And so people left comments. But hey, it's the VFW headquarters. They're looking at the comments and they're gonna make some changes and address these concerns that you have, right? Right? Now, though there are other comments of people saying, hey, VFW, this isn't a good look, I responded with, instead of taking a fellow combat vet to the side to discuss this, you throw him under the bus on social media. This cease and desist letter better be a total smoking gun. To which they respond, we were not the first to call out this company as a claim shark, but this fellow combat vet was defending them. Maybe because it was a collaborative post and he's a brand ambassador for them. Oh, that's it. It must be because Veteran with the Sign is all about the money. He's a brand ambassador and wants that sweet, cool cash. So he's gonna throw all the veterans under the bus so he can get that paycheck. That's what the VFW is saying. Oh, but they say they're not the first ones to call out this company in Zach's post. And Zach should have known better, right? They're proof of somebody warning Zach that Remedical, this specific company, is a shark and very bad, are random comments in his comment section. Because that's where I go if I need specific, validating proof that something's bad. The comments section. And what are the comments section saying the 2 photos that they post? Oh, the VSOs and the veteran support organizations and the VFW do it for free. We no shit. We know that. This is just an option in case you get screwed over. Well, and the one below that says, well, if it's not free, it's not for me. Suggesting that every paid service is a shark is just a false blanket statement. That's like me going into anybody's comments and saying this guy's a dick with no explanation. Oh, but we gotta listen, but that's proof. But that's proof to the VFW. That's proof. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh, and isn't it funny that you're not listening to the comments in your posts? Quite the opposite, you've been deleting them, haven't you? That's not a sign of guilt, is it? And you're not just deleting your VFW comments, well, you're deleting some of mine off of your posts. You're deleting some other people's that are disagreeing with you from your post. Well, that doesn't seem very transparent. Both of these comments have nothing to do with the specific organization that we're talking about here, that you brought up. In fact, at the bottom line in that comment, somebody says they went the free route and it took them over 10 years to get it. But hey, he does ads for them, so that means that Zach is the bad guy, not the company that's doing the bad shit. Potentially, because we gotta look at that, we gotta look at proof, right? We gotta look at the proof that the VFW gave us, besides the fucking comments that, okay, what's the next post? Let's look at that. I'm aware of his ambassadorship and your paid promotion with Zero Blog 30. I asked why you wouldn't pull him to the side and give him this information before publicly tearing down a positive representative in the veteran community. Or did you contact Zachary Bell beforehand? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you Exhibit A. Look, it is barren, for there was no attempt to contact Veteran with a sign and inform him that, hey, you know what? This company could be bad. Or, hey, here's this proof that we have that they're bad. And before I go any further, all I'm saying is, if you're gonna call out a guy for promoting a trash company, you better have some proof that this company is trash. More than fucking comments about not the company. Am I losing my mind? Oh, and I'm not sure you noticed this, but this response isn't from the VFW headquarters. It's from the Washington office, which, if I'm not mistaken, is run by this gentleman. Everybody welcome Ryan Galucky. Boo, boo, Ryan, boo. Now, I'm not saying that this is all Ryan's fault, but if there was a figurehead for me to point my finger at, well, you'll see why later on. Ryan, you were calling up a bunch of people after you made this mistake, weren't you? Yeah, you were. If you'll notice, here, where they put a list of sharks of people you should look out for, which is nice and I appreciate. The company that Zach is representing, promoting, right? It ain't on there. So, if it's what you're saying it is, a bad shark, a bad stinky company, why isn't it on the list of the bad stinky companies? Some of these sharks tell a veteran, hey, you sign on the dotted line, we'll give you some help, bibbity bop. But from now and until the end of time, we're gonna take 10 or 20 or 30 or 40% of each paycheck that comes to you for your VA disability from now until eternity, which is disgusting. And those people should absolutely be investigated and have the book thrown at them. Now, here's my understanding of what Remedical does. And in fact, they put out a letter, ta-da, calling out the VFW saying, hey, we don't do bad business practices here. And in a nutshell, Re does this. You call up Re, you say your elbow hurts, and so does your back. And you wanna go to the VA and you wanna get your disability rating. And you've been thrown down the line a whole bunch of times that you're willing to pay for it now. Here's what we're gonna give you for that payment. If you're gonna claim this, you're gonna need A, B, and C, otherwise the VA will deny you. So they make sure A, B, and C are done, what you're paying them for, and then when you turn that in, you've got A, B, and C there, and you get your benefits that you rightfully deserve. Now let's talk about that proof, right? The VFW says that they've got a cease and desist letter. Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, for those of you that don't know legal jargon, a cease and desist letter sounds like somebody's doing something bad and wrong. It's just a letter to say, hey, could you please fucking stop? To somebody officially letting you know that they don't like what's going on. Now here's where the VFW steps in shit. Because although there are words like cease and desist in this letter that they linked to on the original post, it's not a cease and desist letter. The VA didn't write Remedical saying, you need to stop your practice of such and such. This is a letter of inquiry. What's a letter of inquiry, you see? I'm glad you asked. Letter of inquiry like this is the VA sending a letter to Remedical stating, hey, we got a complaint. We got somebody that's suspicious of your activities here, and we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. You cannot do this, 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 and this. If if you are, you need to stop because it violates this, and this law. We want you to respond to this letter in 30 days with what you're doing to make sure that you're not in violation of these laws. And that was sent out January 4th. Hey, if the VA is sharing letters of inquiry and other internal documents with the VFW, you would think that there would be a follow-up, because it's been more than 30 days, saying, hey, you're not doing this right, we're doing a suit, and we're blah, 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 blah. But we don't have that. We've got a letter that says, hey, if you're breaking the law, that's a problem. So you need to respond to us to show you're not breaking the law. If nothing else follows that, I would assume that nobody was breaking the law. So what the VFW has shown, without contacting Zach, out of the blue, claiming that he's a dirty grifter promoting a shady company that takes advantage of vets, is a bunch of comments from a comment section that don't directly talk about the company, and a letter of inquiry that they mislabeled as a cease and desist letter. And all that letter says is, if you're breaking the law, you can't. Get back to us so we can make sure that that's not happening. Now here's where the shenanigans start getting a little interesting. Now, once people started calling out the VFW headquarters and the VFW in Washington, headed by Ryan Galucki, there was a lot of, back and forth, some snappity comments from the VFW, but it stopped. And I'm not saying it's because of my post, but they didn't respond when I left that reply. Well, you're paying Zero Blog 30 to promote your political agenda, to take care of vets in your way that you see fit. Should we be upset about that? Because that same day, one of the members of Zero Blog 30 posted this. We've been telling you guys, avoid the claim sharks. Now that doesn't seem so bad, but it seems as though that Zero Blog 30 is, on board with throwing Zach under the bus and just blindly assuming that this company is bad. I'm gonna show you a little bit of a, mirror image here. The VFW doesn't like that a company sponsored Zach. Now the VFW is sponsoring Zero Blog 30. And the VFW doesn't like that Zach is being sponsored by their competition. And Zero Blog 30 doesn't like that Zach is sponsoring the VFW's competition. Or the VFW and Zero Blog 30 working together to silence Zach? Is Zero Blog 30 getting all their information from the VFW? Information which we've seen is not proof at all. Well, wouldn't that mean that the VFW is taking advantage of Zero Blog 30? That Zero Blog 30 is promoting a negative thing that's literally hurting a veteran over here? And I had to ask that. Is this a part of the VFW paid sponsorship of Zero Blog 30? When you say, telling you guys, did you warn and share the link memo with Zach? I asked because you're tying your pony to a pretty shitty post. You tie a pony to a post, but it's also a social media post. Well, I thought it was clever. The VFW tagged hashtag we got receipts, but they just aren't adding up. Now, Cons responded with, happy to chat with you. That's funny. A public post shitting on a guy, and then you reposting that thing shitting on a guy, fellow veteran. Why do we gotta talk in private now? I don't understand. And here's what I got. I said, hey man, is this a part of the promotion? What's going on? You're getting paid by them? Don't you regret posting something that so obviously throws another veteran under the bus? And you're gonna hear this word a lot in a couple minutes, intent. Intent! Now Khan says that it's not his intent, nor does he think it was the VFW's intent, to throw Zach under the bus. So then why was the focus of the entire post Zach? A dude dressed up like Zach. The beginning of the post saying, don't add to the rumor mill, Zach. Why not post something about Remedical? I don't even know what their emblem looks like. You, by proxy, because you reposted it, made him the poster child of veterans getting taken advantage of, and a veteran being a shill to these companies taking advantage of them. Cons asked me, do you think the VA is gonna waste a bunch of money doing an investigation and time? Cons, I think we can both agree on this. The VA wastes a shit ton of money and time. I asked him if he regretted posting it. Now, he wouldn't answer my question on if he felt bad about reposting that, because no, we can't, because he's an officer. You can't admit that he's wrong. And that really disappoints me. He just said he disagrees with Zach and saying that everybody should have their veterans benefits for free.
We don't live in the land of shoulda.
And I agree. they should. But there are people that fall through the cracks and need assistance. Now here's where I get upset. About 2 weeks ago, Zach made a post and said, hey, try Remedical. And ZeroBlog30, your Instagram account, well, reposted it in a story. Not all money is good money, huh? Wow, that's not an intentional way to shame Zach into being a complete and utter veteran grifter. Not all money is good money. The money that we take from the VFW is good money, but your money's dirty money. You know, for a second, that sounds oddly familiar to what the VFW posted about Zach taking money for the sponsorships. Both making it seem like Zach's a sellout. And Zach responded in the gentleman way that he is because he's a veteran that cares about veteran issues. Hey, ZeroBlog30, if you have some information that might assist me, please send it to me so I can look it over. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing by the community. To which ZeroBlog30 says, hey man, we've got proof. We'll send it to you. We'll give you the proof that you want. I don't know who he talked to specifically because he won't share that with me, and God bless him, he won't throw anybody under the bus, even though I'm more than happy to, especially after they did this to him. And Zach's like, heck yeah! Now that proof was gonna be that cease and desist letter that isn't a cease and desist letter, the letter that just asks, are you doing something bad? If you are, you can't do that. They didn't send that to him. Instead, they ghosted him for a while, and then the VFW posted it. So let's look at this the way that I look at this. VFW pays ZeroBlog30 to make some ads from their point of view stating that this is good and this is bad. Zach makes a post that is in opposition to that. Hey, we need to, cut out those sharks, but we still need to have some additional choice. ZeroBlog30 posts that, says, no, you're wrong, should be for free. This place is a shark, I don't like them. Zach asks, hey, just give me some proof. Help me out. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to know, and I'll fix it. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, a week and a half later, the VFW is posting the proof. That's absolutely not. And throwing Zach under the bus. Now I asked and I tweeted at Captain Cons and ZeroBlog30, hey, did you have anything to do with the VFW's attack on Zach? Or if the folks in ZeroBlog30 alerted the VFW to, hey, look at what Zach's doing, but I got back nothing. Which to me sounds like a veteran organization and a veteran-run blog colluded to shit on a veteran. Something I think that adds a little more to the background of this is that Zach and I were approached, not by the VFW, but to promote the VFW and the ad campaign that ZeroBlog30 is, the one that takes away choice from veterans. Zach and I both declined it. Now, is it a coincidence that Zach declines it and ZeroBlog30 picks it up and then them and the VFW jump on Zach? It could be. So now, with all that information, well, it almost looks like the VFW headquarters and the people that run their ad campaigns or social media presences wanted to prove a point to Zach, wanted to prove a point to the veteran community and say, if you ever go against us, we'll burn you at the stake. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Now, let me say that there is nothing wrong with the VFW asking ZeroBlog30 to promote something. And there's nothing wrong with ZeroBlog30 promoting that thing as long as they believe in it. Zach and I believe that two groups of people trying to assist veterans, but having opposing viewpoints is a good thing. We're both trying to help veterans, just different ways that we're looking at it. But tearing down a veteran for no reason, with zero proof, not pulling him to the side and talking to him like a fellow troop and just blasting him and then promoting that blasting. As a community, we shouldn't want to tear down a veteran, especially one that's done so much positive work in our sphere. Boy, that seems underhanded. That veteran with the sign would contact you looking for information. You don't give it to him, and then a week and a half later, all of a sudden that information is posted trying to make him look bad. And the VFW already knows how to contact him. Boy, it seems like a setup to me. But let's bring it back and specifically focus on the VFW headquarters in the Washington Post, headed by Ryan. A day after all the original posts go out, he starts calling veterans in the social media sphere, numerous veterans, and saying, hey, listen, it's not as bad as you think. We didn't intend, intent, here's the word, get ready for the intent. We didn't intend to blast veteran with the sign. We intended to blast Remedical. Now, I know this because they happen to contact Mandatory Fun Day, who I think is a fantastic person. Once again, they say to him, our intent was not to put Zach on blast. So you're telling me that this post, where you have a dude dress up sunglasses, a green t-shirt, a cardboard sign with a message written on it is focused on Re-Medical, on the so-called bad company? That doesn't look like Re-Medical. How can you possibly say, Ryan, that your intent was not to bash Zach, veteran with the sign, when the entire post is directed to him? And it all ends with the VFW standing its ground, not saying they're sorry to Zach, Zero Blog 30, tucking its tail between its legs and not answering any of the questions. I literally asked Captain Cons, are you sad? Are you upset? Do you regret reposting that thing that shit on Zach? And his response wasn't yes or no or that's not what I intended. It was just, I disagree with what Zach's doing. How the fuck does that answer my question? But the VFW headquarters Twitter account certainly had time to slide into Zach's DMs and not apologize for creating this whole shitstorm, but blame him because this is his fault. He's supporting a group that they don't like, that they have zero proof on. And that's why I had to stand up for my friend. That's why I made this video. I don't think it's gonna get a lot of views and I don't care. The community, the people that know Zach are standing up for him in the comments, and you should. I'm an asshole. I say stupid shit on the internet and I push a lot of buttons and I get a lot of people pissed off with some of the rude things that I say. I'm not perfect, but all this dude's done for 10 years, most of it getting fucking zero recognition, zero money, zero pats on the back, is fight for veterans. And he never threw anybody under the bus. So I will die on this hill. Needless to say, I will not be doing any promotions or advocating for the VFW until the individuals that are responsible for that post and the horrible reaction to it after they put it up and had the entire veteran community say this is probably the wrong idea are removed. I'm not going to work with an organization whose head is riddled with brain cancer like this one. Once again, VFW posts are great places that support veterans. Its headquarters has a cancer, and I think it's time that it needs to be cut out. And I'm disappointed in Zero Block 30. I never had any bad blood with y'all. Just did our own things, never really crossed over. For a group that, supposedly promotes the health and wellness and the betterment of veterans, boy, you really stepped in it on this one. I just don't agree with them. That's not what I fucking asked. Best way to support the channel is buy a t-shirt. I've got flags up now. That's right. I want to see those in every single home gym, workshop, and garage across America. Cheapest way to support the channel is to leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Zero Blog 30 and what do you think about the VFW? Like I said, I don't like headquarters. I think that they have an issue right now and need to change. But I think that the posts are great. All right. See you next time, weirdos. I almost forgot. 2 weeks before all this shit kicked off, I did a podcast with Zach talking about some of this stuff. So if you want to see how we felt before this all blew up, I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can watch it and be like, oh, wow, I can't believe they shit on a guy that was such a, you'll see.